Hi, one exercise that I really like to do that helps with the suppleness of the horse and eventually helps with so many things, our simple changes, our flying changes, our half pass zigzags, pirouettes. So we can use this exercise all the way through the Grand Prix, and we can start with it back at training level. And it's called the string of pearls. Basically, you ride down the center line in 10-meter circles, and when your horse is really good at changing their bend and their direction, and they're able to actually go onto 10 meters in the new direction, then we make it more like a serpentine, but in the beginning, we make circles. And I'm not a big fan of small circles, so this is not an exercise I do very often, but when I do it, I do focus and really concentrate on it. So I'm just going to start at the walk. And this is a really good exercise to do when the arena is freshly drugged, because you can really see your circle size and make sure that you're circling right at 10 meters. And I'm not quite on the center line here because Pivo likes me here. So we're going to go with Pivo today. So what I want to think about is with a quarter of a circle left, I start thinking about flattening my horse out and then creating the new bend where the two circles join. And then I want to make sure that when I go the new direction that he's turning, because it's really easy for them when they go the new direction to kind of go like this at a diagonal line and then go way out past what the 10-meter mark is. He's finally bent, and then we start turning, and now my circle's way over here and it's closer to 15 meters. And so now I need to kind of redirect and reorganize and get back at 10. So a good way to help a horse that's having difficulties like that last example that I showed you is to get where the two circles meet, halt, show the horse the new bend, go forward, immediately turning. And you can do this if you're not in a freshly drug arena. You can do this using cones and just set them up so that they're 10 or 12 meters apart, like a little alleyway, and you're going to ride your circles, good boy, in that little alleyway. So when they can halt, bend, turn, then we try and just keep turning in the walk without having to make the halt. So I'm going to rock my horse back a little bit like I'm preparing him for the halt, and then I say, now we're going to get our new bend, and now we're going to turn with the new bend. And then when they get that skill really good, we add the trotting. I think I only ever do 10-meter circles at the trot at a horse show. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to walk. I'm going to show the new bend. And then I'm going to trot and turn. Because impulsion makes him want to go more straight. And so it's really hard to bend. But the smaller circle like this, what it does is it gets them supple enough that they start to lower the inside hind leg, and they start to develop the muscles that they need for collection. So good boys, good there, so we just go to the other way. So when you think about it, their collection can only be as good as their weakest hind leg. And so if you can't load the inside hind leg in the change of direction here, then I have a weakness. And so when I go to half halt him, he's not going to hold the weight on the hind leg. So see, he's pretty good at this, and I can just go half circle, half circle, half circle. So then an advanced version of that is then you take a leg yield or a half pass, and you change your direction to your other circle that way. And then you get your new bend, and you make your 10-meter circle. Boy. And we only needed a half circle. And this gets them really supple for doing the zigzag. See, he's taking a moment to bend, so I need my circle, and I need a little more tempo. Good boy. So I'm going to go back to the half pass left. And I'll come close here. My Pivo doesn't always zoom in when I'm at a distance. Let's see, so I'll make my half pass left. And so this is the one he took a little too long to make the new bend better. Good boy. So then I wouldn't have to do a full circle. I could go to a leg yield or a half pass again. It's hard to talk at the sitting trot. Good boy. Good boy. How long does it take to get the new bend? Spot on right away. So then we have another variation on the string of pearls and the canter. So when your horse is learning the simple changes, this is a really good exercise to do. So we can start out, like I would do this the whole length of the arena, but I'm just staying close for the pivot. So we would do a canter circle from the walk. And so our training level horses might be at 12 meters because that's going to be hard work for them. And they would do a trot transition, a new bend, and a new lead. And when the horse can do this without making mistakes, then we start turning this onto more of a straight line. So then I would say, okay, you know how to pick up your lead, so now I'm going to take a straight line, I'm going to trot, I'm going to canter, and then I'm going to turn and come on to my next circle. So I'll do that again. So from this circle, I point to my other circle, I make it a straight line. Instead of two circles that are meeting, so you can see I went diagonal across the arena, instead of getting myself parallel to the short wall like this one here. See how I do it where the two circles meet? So that's two circles sitting side by side, where this one is a diagonal line. So I come across the diagonal of the arena, and so I skip a lot of the circle to go that way. So then when they have that skill down really good, we start adding our walk transition. If I did not like that, I would come back into the same lead. And then when he was ready, I would do another one. He's got this skill down pretty good. And then the new lead. You don't do a lot of walk canters either. I think they're hard on the high suspensory. I walk, get the new positioning. Oopsies, too much seat. Okay, so I'm going to redo that one. So I'm going to walk. That was my fault. I need to be lighter in my seat. And by lighter, what I do is I squeeze my butt cheeks together so my seat bones come out of the saddle instead of pushing my seat bones down into the saddle like what I did when his head went straight up in the air. So now when the simple change is good, I can put my flying change in here, and these are really hard for him because he has to keep the collection. This horse actually has a really big canter stride for his size, and so for him to turn and change, see, he has to get small in that canter and stay on that hind leg, and so that's a little hard for him. So when we can do the changes on the turns, he did a good job at that one. Then what we do is the half pass. So it's just like the trot work. So we half pass to our other circle. That's just our diagonal line. And how long does it take to get the new bend, the lead change, and then the new direction? Okay, I didn't like that. So I'm going to do the diagonal line. So that's a little more forward. New lead. I'm going to do the half pass to the change again. So he anticipated the zigzag, and that can't happen. Okay, so we make our half pass. It's a pretty steep angle. He has to change the bend and not come into my bend. And then I can change the lead and make my circle. So you can see this is really hard. This horse is only 7, so this is very, very hard work. And he would have had a walk break in here if I was not doing this as a video. So my half pass, the new bend, new lead, new circle. Good boy. So that's just a fun exercise, the string of pearls, sorry bud, that you can use to help with the collection and the turning so you get the lateral suppleness. So again, like what I was saying about the collection is that they can only collect as much as their weakest hind leg. So if they're not properly bending and sitting down on an inside hind leg, then they can't sit down on both legs to make the collection. And so the 10-meter circles is where we really develop that suppleness and that engagement of that inside hind leg to start developing our thru collection. And so 10-meter circles are a very important part in dressage. We just have to be careful that we, one, don't do too many of them, and don't do them when they're out of alignment or out of balance. So this is an exercise that, for me, I feel really helps, because it's very obvious if they're out of balance or out of alignment, because I can't move on to the next circle. And so it makes me have to do a down transition to get the horse organized and then try moving on. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you just walk and halt and do this. You'll make a huge difference in your horse's suppleness and obedience to your aids. Happy riding, everyone.